We're going to begin with a video.
More than 100 immigration and custom enforcement agents raided a Van Nuys company today. The raid took place at a printer supply manufacturer called Micro Solutions Enterprises. Family and friends rushed over as soon as they heard what was going on.
From Newscomer 13, you can see a toddler who doesn't quite understand why she can't be with her mother.
Pero más los pequeños que muy posiblemente aún no entienden lo sucedido.
¿Por qué vienen a migras si no es justo? Porque hay muchos niños que son seres de acá y luego sus papás son de México y luego viene la migra y se los lleva, no es justo.
Para mí fue más triste cuando yo hablé con ella para decirle que había llegado migración. Ella me dijo, no mami, no, sí, mija, deje, tú no te preocupes, tu papá va a llegar por ti. Y ya cuando a nosotros nos sacaron de ahí, ella estaba fuera de la fábrica cuando a mí me subieron a la van.
We all want to grow up with our parents being there, supporting us, helping us through all our steps of being there. Like me, if they would have to take her, she might not even be here for when I graduate. And they just need to be aware of what the kids, because it does change a lot.
The 40 people granted what's called a humanitarian release.
Pero también hay un aspecto humanitario sobre este operativo. Gente que ha sido detenida, si tiene alguna responsabilidad en casa, va a ser documentada y después la van a dejar ir.
I don't know what is worse, when we are in the company and see all the intimidation, or being on the detention center. I think the worst thing is being in the detention center, I guess. I see some people start to get in a really panic there, because at that point we don't know what's going to happen to us inside there. This is, well, I call my friend, because he goes everywhere with me.
Yadira, how has it affected you to have your mom wearing a bracelet like that?
Diario tengo que hacer esto durante 2 horas. Me empiezo a cargarlos como a las 8:30 y lo desconecto a las 10, 11:30 para poder hacer mis aseos. Porque mientras que esté yo así cargando no puedo hacer nada. Tengo que ponerme un protector aquí para que no me haga llagas, cuidarme de que no me haga llagas por el diabetes. Que yo pienso que eso no es justo, que a uno le hayan puesto esto y a los que de veras son delincuentes no se los ponen, porque nosotros nos agarraron trabajando, no nos agarraron robando. Yo desde que empecé a trabajar para esta fábrica hace 7 años, 7 años que en realidad pues para mí era una fuente de mi trabajo para poder sacar adelante a mis hijos.
100 ICE agents to detain about 150 people. That is a poor use of our tax money.
Families should not be terrorized. Children should not be terrorized. Our communities should not be terrorized.
Hello, everybody. I came to this country in 1975 as a young child. I came here without documents. We crossed the border. We went over the hills. Were caught by ICE once. Finally made it to be reunited with my family, my father and my mother. My sister and I were very happy to see our parents. We came to this country understanding that we were coming and that we were going to have a better opportunity, but that we had to hide from immigration, the la migra, that we understood that we were here and that we needed to hide. so that immigration would not catch us. That's the way I grew up. That was what my normal, or my sense of who I was, and there were many other things about who I was, but this was a very important aspect. When I was 7 years old, my mother was working at a garment factory, and my father got a call from the factory owner letting him know that there was an ICE raid, or at that point INS raid, immigration raid. And I remember my father being panicked, and I remember the devastation that I felt when I found out my mother had been picked up. She was picked up at this garment factory, and she was taken back to Tijuana. She made it back, and she made it back along with 7 other people in the back of a trunk. And my mother couldn't walk for many months. Couldn't really, I mean, she was still hurt from what she had to go through. She had to come and run through the hills in heels, because those were the shoes that she was wearing that day. And for me, it was just something that has always been something that was part of me. But my family had a chance. My father figured out, well, what are we going to do in order to make sure that this doesn't happen again, that we're protected. And during that time, if you had somebody in your family, even a young child who was a U.S. citizen, you could actually apply for legalization. It has transformed my life. It has transformed the life of my family. My mother is now a U.S. citizen, and she votes, and she's a progressive voter. So I'm here to tell you today that the reason that I fight for immigration reform, the reason that I fight and the reason that I stand by so many other people who care about this issue is I don't want any other child to go through what I went through, or what those young women and many other young children that I have to meet with every single, I would say certainly every single day. And this is happening today in America. And it's not acceptable. And it can be changed. And it can be changed. And it can be changed so that you can actually have those young women, those young girls grow up with their parents and grow up and have the opportunities, and that those parents can also have opportunities. I'm part of local coalitions and national coalitions fighting for immigration reform. And we fight for immigration reform because we believe that the 12 million people who are living in this country without legal status need a chance to legalize their status now. Right now, we have a system in which if you are in this country for 6 months without documents, if you're in this country a year without documents, and you get a chance to legalize your status, and you happen to have come in with the country without a visa, you have a punishment. For 6 months, you have to wait an additional 3 years. For a year without documents, you have to wait 10 additional years. So there is no wonder that most people don't have legal status, because they cannot access this system. So we're fighting to change a bureaucracy that doesn't allow certain people to come in, and then another part of the bureaucracy that once you get that chance, doesn't let you out. So that right now you have people who have filed petitions from the Philippines, from Mexico, from China, that are waiting average 14 years, 16 years, 21 years to be reunited with their family. Does that make sense to you? It doesn't. People say, well, they should wait in line. And I always say, you know what? They are in line. They've been waiting in line for decades. It's time for them to get out of that line. We fight for...